Okay, it's been a while since I've done a Diary of an Average Footballer update, but here it is, and I must say, this has been an absolutely crazy season so far. It's been up and down, there's been controversy, I've got a lot of stories to tell. I think it's right that we start off with the trials, but if you just want to hear me talk about the games in the season and what happened in these games, then you can skip to this point and the timestamp here. Anyway, the trials. So I didn't actually play that much football throughout the summer. Did some kickabouts with mates and some kickabouts by myself, but that was really it. And if you've watched episode 4 of this series, then you will know that I had a slight mindset change. Instead of reaching for specific goals such as semi-pro football and trying to score this many goals a season, blah, 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 my two aims is just to be enjoying football and getting as many minutes as possible. And I think for anybody that wants to improve but doesn't want to take football too seriously to the point where it's not so much fun, I think this is the aim that we should all be going for. But despite that, I did turn up to the Loughborough University AU trials with no sort of expectation in my mind at all. Two reasons I didn't have an expectation. One of all, I know I'm probably not good enough, and second of all, I hadn't played all summer, so my fitness wasn't quite there. Rather than taking it as a serious trial, I decided to just see it as a pre-season for the IMS season. Yeah, the Loughborough University trials happened, I didn't hear anything back, not a surprise. But we move on to the IMS trials and I played really well. And then in the callback trials I played even better, and then in the training I played even better. I was scoring loads of goals and it was great fun. It was really nice, and I'm pretty sure that was down to the mindset change. I mean, I hadn't really got any better at football because I hardly played any. It may have just been down to that mindset change. And as a result of playing well in the trainings and the trials and scoring goals, I was put into the A team, which was nice. You know, I'd spent a lot of time on the B team bench last year, and we had a very strong team, to be fair. My expectation for this season was to be playing for the B team again, but hopefully getting minutes. But rather, I was told I'd be starting for the A's in the first game of the season. And obviously that meant minutes, so I was completely fine with that. Anyway, now we're going to go into the season and what happened in the games. And after the first game was absolute mayhem. Our first game was against Robert Bakewell. I was feeling good. I was ready to score goals. As I said, I've been scoring goals in the trials and the training. I started up front, lone striker. We're playing 4-3-3, holding midfielder. We played that for most of the start of the season, but that does change, and I'll get onto that. We ended up winning 2-1. I personally didn't score or get an assist. We were 1-0 up in the second half, and they obviously play a long ball. Our keeper goes out to get it before their striker, and whether he handballs it outside of the box or not, I don't know. We'll have to put VAR on that one. No VAR and IMS, obviously. So the referee says handball outside the box and our keeper gets sent off. Not really what you want. Soon after that, as you can imagine, being 1-0 up, but only 10 men and a keeper who's not a keeper, we go back to 1-1. And then something that I've never seen on a football pitch before happened, and you'll probably hear that a lot throughout this video. One of their subs tripped up one of our players when he was on the bench, so he got sent off. So now we're both playing with 10 men, but they had 11, they just had one less sub. I don't know how that worked, really. I don't think the referee knew what he was doing. You'll probably hear that a lot as well. But then the main thing is it's 1-1. As I said, 10 men against 11. Probably about 10 minutes to go. Our centre-back got a free kick just before the halfway line, sends it into the box, overshoots us in the box, bounces over the keeper and goes in, and absolute scenes. It was great. First game of the season, a 2-1 win, and our keeper got a red card. Second game of the season, another league game, and we're playing Tford, who are last year's cup winners. Tford are known as the best football team in the A's League, usually. And so we knew it was going to be a tough game, but it was a good chance to really show what we can do in the league and, you know, give us the confidence to challenge for the title. All to say about this game is this was the most structured team I'd ever really been part of. Our structure in our pressing and our defence was so strong, and we ended up winning the game 2-0. A fantastic performance. Once again, no goals from me. We'll get on to my stats later. But despite that, I got another full game, another full 70 minutes. 70 minutes in IMS, not 90 minutes, by the way. But a 2-0 win over Tford is pretty impressive. And there we were, 6 points, 2 games, feeling good. And then, game 3 comes about in the league, and it's Harry French. This is the game that I don't know. To be honest, it's ruined our season, and you're going to find out what happened. Half time, we're 2-0 down. Okay, we're 2-0 down to Harry French. We're not playing well. We've just come off a 2-0 win to Tford, as I said. We're meant to be playing with this confidence. We're not playing well in any way at all. We haven't got our normal goalkeeper in as he's injured. Obviously, it's not where we want to be. Second half starts, and 10 minutes into the second half, their left winger has a little clash with our right back. Their left winger goes on the floor, our right back still standing up. I can't quite remember if the ref gave a foul or if he continued playing. I think he continued playing, but all you heard was boom, just that noise, and everybody turns around. The good thing is a few of us saw it. The person who obviously didn't see what happened was the referee, because their left winger who's on the ground has swiped his leg and kicked our right back. And so the referee runs over, picking a card out of his pocket, everybody shouting for him to get sent off. And he does give a red card, but he gives a red card to our right back. I don't know. So what happened next was just pure mayhem. Everybody watching the game, from the Royce side at least, came onto the pitch. All the managers came onto the pitch or whatever, and everybody just surrounded the referee. And after a few minutes, the referee blew his whistle and said, match suspended, match abandoned. So what happens now? Match is abandoned. There's a lot of conversation about it. Is it going to be replayed? Is it going to be a win for Harry French? Are we going to get? Are we just going to get the loss for that game? We only played just over 10 minutes into the second half. But the decision in the end, after a lot of meetings, or I don't know what happened, but I remember we were at training one day and our manager said that, yep, Harry French have got the win, and Royce, the team I play for, Royce have got a 3-point deduction. I know you have to respect the referee's decision, and maybe we shouldn't have reacted in the way that we did. Nobody reacted in a bad way, but I guess there was a persistent surrounding of the referee. But the reason for the 3-point deduction was because we couldn't control our spectators. So instead of being 6 points into 3 games, we were now 3 points into 3 games with 2 wins and 1 loss. So you can see how that completely turned the season around. After that game, we said to ourselves, right, it's going to take a lot to win the league now. If we win every game, we can still be up there and challenge for the title. But we still have the cup. We still have the cup, and that's what's important. Who do we get in the first round of the cup? Last year's winners, Tford. Brilliant. That's exactly what we needed. But there was confidence with us. There was confidence because we, as you know, we beat Tford in the league 2-0. If we just play the same way, if we just keep that confidence and forget about the last game, we can beat Tford in the cup and take out, well, that'll be giant killing in the FA Cup terms, and hopefully move on and get to the final and win it this year. That didn't happen. This is the first game that I didn't get full minutes. I got taken off about half time, I reckon, and then got put back on. This is the only game I've ever been taken off this season, so it's been nice to be getting lots of minutes this season. But we did lose 3-0 in this game. That's not because I came off, by the way. I'm not linking that at all. And that was a big disappointment. Obviously, we just had the disappointment from the league and the point suspensions and whatever. And then obviously losing in the cup really took out the motivation for the season for a lot of players. But obviously we still had the league to focus on. We thought to ourselves, if we win every game, we can get through this. So we moved on to the league. The league was the only thing to focus on now, and our next game was Claudia Parsons. Now, Claudia Parsons were lower mid-table. What had started to happen is a lot of the players that dropped out the AU teams were joining Claudia Parsons. So they had some pretty good players. I heard they had a player who played in Step 2 and another player who played in Step 4. It was a pretty strong team. And we played well. We did play really well. We were 1-0 up the whole game with about 5 minutes to go. They got an equaliser. It was a really good game to be a part of, like a true battle. I felt like I played really well in that game. Even as a striker, it's taught me it's not all about goals or assists to be playing well. I should have scored some goals this season, that is for sure, and we'll get onto that. In the Claudia Parsons game, that was a game that I played well, and I felt like I got back to how I was playing in the trials and the training before the season started. Then after the Claudia Parsons games, 1-1, we got our confidence back up. Then it all went to shit. The game after that, we've got the Holt. The Holt are doing all right in the league. We're seeing it as a win, especially that we've got our confidence up with a 1-1 draw against Claudia Parsons. Once again, it was a good performance. We lose 4-0 to the Holt. There's nothing else to say apart from that, apart from it was a bad performance. And then an even worse performance to the current league leaders, and who happen also to be our rivals, Faraday, a 6-0 loss. There's nothing to say in these two games apart from the fact we just weren't playing our way of football. We know we can compete with both of these teams, especially Faraday, with it being, you know, a kind of rivalry. There's a little bit more tension there. Anybody can win that game. Those two games are quite difficult to be part of, especially as a striker. We just weren't putting our passes together. We're losing the ball all the time, and obviously you can see the results. We were not playing well. So there's only 2 more games to go through, and we needed to get back into the winning field. We'd had a lot of tough games this season. We'd had Telford twice. We'd had Robert Bakewell, who were finalists last year. We'd had Harry French. You know, these are all good teams that we were facing. Faraday as well. And what we needed after that Faraday game was a game against Towers, and that's exactly what we got. Towers are bottom of the league, and it was an opportunity to bounce back. And bounce back we did. We got a 5-2 win. I personally got 3 assists. It was probably the best game of my season so far. Hopefully so far. You know, we completely changed the formation. All season we've been playing a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder. For me as a striker, it's been feeling a bit isolated with that holding midfielder instead of an attacking midfielder. But in this game we changed to a 4-4-2, and basically it worked as a 4-2-4 in attack, and it was just perfect. It was amazing. Me and the other striker were playing well off each other. I was kind of dropping in and giving it to the wingers, and it was a great performance from the whole team. A 5-2 win, obviously you can see that was pretty good. Something that happened in this game is I got a yellow card. I also got a yellow card in the first game of the season, which I'd never had a yellow card in my career. So 2 yellow cards this season. More yellow cards than goals. I know you're going to say that in the comments already. I did actually score in this game, and it wasn't offside, but it was offside. They said it was offside. Happens a lot in IMS. It definitely wasn't offside. I know it wasn't offside. It was a good finish from the edge of the box in the bottom right corner. Would have been a goal I was really happy with. Might have got me into a goal scoring form for the rest of the season, but who knows? Obviously their line's been ruined that. But it's IMS football, what can you say? But the main thing was big win and moving on to the last game before the winter break. And this was Cayley. So Cayley being a mid-table team and us being a mid-table team after those losses. It was a chance to prove that we're back in the swing of things. We're back to Royce football. We're back to, well, we're not going to challenge for the title anymore. I think that's quite obvious. We're obviously not in the cup, but at least we can start trying to win our last few games of the season. It was during a storm. It was very windy. It was a crap game. It was 0-0 at half time. It was a little bit of a battle. No goals or assists for me again, but it ended up being a 2-0 win. I felt like I played pretty well, nicely involved in the game. And in that game, instead of playing 4-4-2, we played a 5-3-2. And playing with that other striker has made a huge difference to me this season. I used to play with another striker at the other 2 clubs I've been at in playing football, and it's so much more comfortable. A 2-0 win, a clean sheet. It was a nice way to end what has been a crazy half to the season. But aside from all the crazy stories, especially in those first few games, for me, looking on this season, it's been, despite 0 goals, 3 assists in 9 games as a striker, it's been a successful season. Well, first of all, I'm playing a different role as a striker. This isn't an excuse for no goals. I should have scored a few goals by now. I'm aware of that. I've always been a striker who plays on the edge, but since we've changed this formation to 2 up front, I've been the one kind of dropping in, and I've been really enjoying that. It's been learning a new way of football, but I've been really enjoying it. But the main thing I want to point out is in the middle of the season with the 4-0 and the 6-0 loss, of course I wasn't enjoying it. None of us were enjoying that period. But on the games outside of it, especially the close games like the Claudia Parson game or the Cayley game I just described, or the Robert Bakewell game, first game of the season, those are all games I've really enjoyed playing. And the Towers game was fun as well, obviously. So out of all the minutes I could have possibly played this season in the 9 games that we've played, I've only missed 25 minutes. And my target before the season was to be enjoying football and playing minutes, and that's exactly what's happening. So so far I'm taking it as a successful season. If I can score a few more goals, then obviously that'd be great. And that is my plan to when I get back to just finish off those chances that I've had. But overall, I wanted to give you an update on Diary of an Average Footballer for this crazy season. I hope you've enjoyed the story of this season. Well, it's a story that hasn't been finished yet because we still got a lot more to go. And yeah, I've learned a lot this season, especially with the you don't have to have good stats to enjoy and play well. And that's probably something I should take forward for the rest of my career as an average footballer. I don't have to be worried about scoring a goal every other game or every game of a season to be playing good football. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Diary of an Average Footballer. I hope you have enjoyed, and I look forward to telling you about the rest of the season. IMS is probably the most unpredictable football you could ever watch, so who knows what's going to happen. I hope all of you have a great week. Please subscribe here if you're new, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.